You know a series is good when it can surprise you with an incredible plot twist, and Outlander really knows how to blindside us time and time again. The historical drama has 6 seasons, with the 7th and final season airing in 2 parts, the first of which is set to drop in mid-2023. So, with such an epic saga, trust us when we say there are lots of twists and turns. Today we want to break down the most surprising and exciting plot twists that the show has to offer in preparation for the final season. From riveting and passionate surprises to cruel turns that fans hated. And friends, please watch at your own risk. This video will contain spoilers for the entire series.
We're lucky to have such educated people joining us on the ridge.
The name Lucifer brings to mind the burning fires of hell. Are you going to use the phosphorus to light a fire?
Quick content warning too, as this video does contain mentions of so, if you don't want to hear about that sort of thing, then maybe this isn't the video for you. We want you all to take care of yourselves. So, let's get right into it. First, we must address the twist that started it all. When Claire tumbles through time in Scotland, landing in the 1700s. I'm sure this isn't what she had in mind when she went on vacation with her husband. This supernatural mix-up kicks off the entire series and introduces our heroine to our hero, Jamie Fraser. If you went into Outlander not knowing what it was about, then you would have been surprised when a period drama set in 1945 turns into the story about a woman sucked back in time. We wouldn't have a story if it weren't for this accidental time travel. And since it kicked off this incredible tale, it gets to kick off our list. Next, a much more dour twist. In the second season, Claire and Jamie fall pregnant. In efforts to prevent the Battle of Culloden, they had traveled to France, where Jamie ended up seized and imprisoned in the Bastille. Claire, pregnant and alone, is sent to a hospital where she apparently goes into labor. Unfortunately, the baby is a stillborn, and Claire is left in horrific pain and grief, and nearly loses her own life in the process. The episode is called Faith because one of the nuns at the hospital names the baby Faith before she is laid to rest. We thought for so long that the baby was going to bring Claire and Jamie so much happiness. No one expected her to lose it after so much struggle and hardship.
This is my daughter Malva and my son Alan.
While we were at Adsmuir. But you were there with me.
I'm not crying, you're crying. This episode really made me think, you know? Modern medicine has advanced so much since the 18th century, and yet there are still women who lose their lives in childbirth. Imagine how many more succumbed to this fate back in Jamie's day. Now, it's these experiences of the stillbirth and the attempts to stop the Battle of Culloden that led to the next twist on our list. Claire, since she is from the future, knows how terrible this battle will end up, especially for the Jacobites. Jamie, however, is more concerned for Claire's safety and the life of their unborn baby. Yes, she is pregnant again. They decide it's best for Claire to return to her own time. However, since Jamie is unable to go with her, they both believe it is his destiny to die at Culloden. Not only was this decision a shock, but Claire gives Jamie a very poignant goodbye gift that makes it all that much more powerful. A piece of amber with a dragonfly preserved inside. It's a gorgeous gift that beautifully represents their relationship, holding on to a piece of the past forever. We really thought that it was for Claire and Jamie, that this was the end of their story and that they would never see each other again. Claire returned to her own time, and we see her over the next 20 years advancing her career while raising her and Jamie's daughter Brianna. But Claire and Brianna eventually discover that Jamie survived Culloden and was still alive in the past. Boom! Big twist! But not only that, Brianna is now an adult, and she is also a time traveler. Boom! Double twist! It must run in the family.
Our settlers have worked hard. New settlers arrived this week. Today we begin building their cabins. Well then, Mr. Christie.
Now maybe I should explain how we do things here.
Anyway, Brianna is on a mission to track down Claire and Jamie in Jamie's time to protect them from an impending disaster. She finds her father, who had never met her and did not expect her, thinks that she's a stranger trying to hit on him. Now that's awkward. Imagine traveling through time to meet your biological father and he tried to give you a kiss. Rough start. But unfortunately, things don't go so well for Brianna while she is in the past. Another quick content warning before we go on. In the 4th season, Brianna is violently raped by Stephen Bonnet and Brienne realizes not long after that she's pregnant. Remember, in the 18th century, there was no such thing as a paternity test, so there's no way to tell whether the baby is Stephen's or her husband Roger. Roger shockingly responds horribly to this news and needs to take some time and step back from his marriage as a result. Both fans and actors were surprised by this twist. Sophie Skelton, the actor who plays Brianna, had this to say: "Wow, Roger, that's really not cool. It's brutal, really, because the rape wasn't her fault." And their argument before it really depends. Not that there's a side, they're both right and wrong. I don't think there's particularly a blame for Brie in terms of Roger leaving that night, but it did come from them kind of parting ways again. And obviously then she ran into Bonnet that night, so for him to not even come back just to see if Brie's okay, for me, is a little bit brutal. But at the same time, I understand that for him, that is a huge commitment and a huge thing. Geez, Sophie, you're more forgiving than I am. Richard Rankin, who plays Roger, also had a statement to make, but his is much less gray. There was a portion of the fans that maybe took Roger's hesitation the wrong way, and it wasn't really about deciding whether or not he loves Brianna or deciding whether or not he's gonna come back to Brianna. He always was. It was always gonna happen, but a lot has changed. They've been separated for months. They've both been through a lot of trauma. He's just found out that she's been raped by Bonnet. He's just come out of being basically a prisoner of the Mohawk, and a lot of what happened and a lot of the catalyst for where they ended up, directly or indirectly, they'd had an effect on each other. Well, everyone's suited to their own opinions, I suppose. The fans were furious with Roger for this, and fans don't need to worry about being perceived well in the public eye. So I can only imagine what the Reddit page on this subject looks like. And finally, the last shocking plot twist is the story of a plot point that we've mentioned once. Jamie has fathered his second child after he sends Claire and unborn Brianna back to their time. How did this happen? He and Claire are made for each other. Well, Jamie is taken advantage of. Geneva Dunsany, who is married to an earl, decides that her husband just isn't cutting it for her, and instead she requests to see Jamie in her room one night, where she makes quick work of making it clear that he has no choice but to engage with her. It's really gross and upsetting, and while it is certainly a plot twist, it was another twist that fans didn't particularly like, even if it did provide Jamie with a child he could spend time with in his time. This led to a lot of tension in Jamie and Claire's relationship, and honestly, I'm not surprised. Well, that's our list, ladies and gents, from riveting, passionate surprises to cruel turns that fans hated.
But you must be wondering why I requested your presence here, Mr. Fraser. Please, sit. The guards will escort you back.
Those are our picks for the most shocking twists and turns in Outlander. Which twist is your favorite? Are there any we missed? What twists of fate do you reckon the Frasers will have to deal with going into the final season? Be sure to let us know down below. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We would love to have you. And if you don't want to miss any future videos, remember to click the bell. That's all for today. We will see you next time.